Hello. In this clip from our Justia webinar, Effective Time Management for Attorneys, Chris Early talks about what is flow state and its importance to create a time management culture in your practice. If you want to see more Justia videos on law practice and legal marketing, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
The phone. I'm really focused on not being on the phone because the phone doesn't help me be productive, doesn't help me really make money. The phone is phone is overrated. So the phone is a time vampire, right? And I'll just tell you, a lot of these things, these aren't my my insights. I've just read a lot of books and been to a lot of conferences, so I've sort of culled or whittled down so many things into the 60-minute presentation. But I've just taken this from other sources, right? This is my original stuff, but I've taken a lot of ideas in hopes of condensing it into an effective hour for us. So the phone, right? So I only take scheduled phone calls. So in our law firm, we have two people in the Philippines who answer the phone. They are absolute rock stars. They are amazing, and all they do is answer the phone all day, and they're freaking awesome at it. And I've trained them, instructed them that I don't take unscheduled phone calls. So if Henry calls, just Henry Smith, the client, wants to talk with me, I'm not around unless we have it scheduled, because if I'm taking unscheduled phone calls, I'm responding to email, which we'll get into a bit. Email is evil and doesn't help us be productive, but we'll get into that. If I'm doing 100 things at once, I'm not serving my clients, my team, my family. It's just bad. So if I don't take unscheduled phone calls, I can count two instances where I got pushback. I think they were both attorneys. I think one attorney said, you must be pretty full of yourself, not taking unscheduled, only taking scheduled phone calls rather. And I said, well, I think it's presumptuous to assume that I'm just sitting at the phone, looking at it, waiting for you to call me. So that's the default of this profession, is that you should always be available. When your clients call you, should answer the phone. It's email you, should respond in 15 minutes. I don't want to forget this. On my email, and I'm happy to share with you if you'd like, on my email, I have an autoresponder. It might annoy people, and I don't care. Every time you email, you get a responder that says, hey, just so you know, I will get back to you for at least 24, possibly 48 hours. We have a lot of cases here. We have a lot of work we're doing. So that primes clients, it primes attorneys, it primes everyone to know that I'm not getting right back to them. We'll get into email in just a bit, right? Phone and email are serious time vampires. So I would encourage you, it may sound radical, controversial, contrarian, only take scheduled phone calls. Clients don't complain about that. They respect it. They can't expect you to just be around whenever they have a random idea they want to call you as their attorney. No, I can't call the people in my life, who I work with. I can't call my mechanic and demand that he'd be ready for me when I just randomly call him. I can't call my doctor and expect her to be ready for Chris Early's call. It's unrealistic. And I'm happy to talk about this offline if you happy to answer questions at the end of this, but this helps people. I can tell you it helped. People have told me it's helped them. I can tell you it's helped me tremendously in only taking scheduled phone calls. I have the word apples in the slide. Apples is kind of code for access. If they call and the person who answers the phone here at the Early Law Group, if the person says apples, that's sort of code for, okay, I'm going to pass you over to Chris, right? Unless they say apples, unless it's scheduled, I'm not going to take the call. Again, I said earlier, most people play along. There's been two attorneys that didn't. I don't really care. I'm not here to make everybody happy. I'm here to promote my practice and promote my life so my family and I have a happy life. That's what I care about, and that's what I do all this stuff. If people don't like it, that's okay. But just because they don't like it doesn't mean it's not healthy for me or you. Email, right? I'm a recovering email addict. I'll just be very upfront about that. I know people can relate to this that are on this call right now, right? It's like this dopamine hit. Oh, who's emailing me, or what does that have to say? Let me open up this email. Well, when you were just focused on that brief you're writing for that big case you're handling, and then you got some random email that just pings on your monitor, you just got sidetracked. Again, we just said before, it's going to take you around 15 minutes to get focused back on that brief that you're writing. I would encourage you, check email twice a day. This goes back to the 80-20 rule. Email doesn't help you make money. Email doesn't help you further your career. Email is the hamster wheel, the busy work that keeps you running in place, and it can make you miserable. It's making me miserable. So, be sensitive to the idea of the dopamine hit, because that's strictly what it is. It's just dopamine that, oh, who's messaging me? What are they saying? It's a short dopamine release, but that's about all it does for you. I'm happy to share with you if you'd like. Email me. I'm happy to share with you my autoresponder that I talked about just a second ago that sort of educates the sender of the email that, hey, I'm not going to get back to you probably for like 24, 48 hours. That way my email box isn't blowing up with emails like, hey, where are you? I emailed you. A short story. I went to Disney a couple of years ago with my family, and I was sitting at a pool, and I was sitting beside an attorney from Texas who I'd never met before. That guy was working the whole day at the pool. The guy was just checking email, and I didn't check email for like 3 days, and that was hard as hell. But I came back to the office. The place didn't burn down. There were no catastrophes. Give yourself permission to get off of email. I would encourage you twice a day, or no matter when that is, just two times a day, I think is enough. But it's classic busy work. It doesn't help you move your life forward in any way, shape, or form. Parkinson's law. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but we talked about how that ties into time blocking. So I guarantee you that if you think something is going to take you an hour, that could be done in half an hour, because you're filling things up with the amount of time that you think it's going to take. That means it's going to take that long. But if you say, actually, I can condense that to a half an hour, the work is still going to get done. But Parkinson's law states that work expands so as to fill the time available for it. So you're sort of shooting yourself in the foot if you're in the foot if you're over estimating how long something's going to take. Try to cut that in half, or at least by like 25%. What you think is going to take a certain amount of time, condense it, drop that down. I guarantee it'll get done. But this is a game changer. This is about more time with our families, our children, right? This is about getting home at 5 and not being tied to our computers at ungodly hours. This is about being happier, making more money, about growing our practices, being around for our families more. That's what this is, right? But this is a real game changer. Cut down those allotments of time that you're blocking on the calendar. And I feel like really good things come of that. Okay, when are you most productive? I know my wife is just so productive late at night. I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night because I wake up very early. So I'm in bed super early. She's just getting, say 10 o'clock at night. That's her productive time. She's crushing it at 10 p.m. I, on the other hand, I'm really productive early in the morning. Like I said, I wake up early. Play to your strengths. Like my wife is a night owl, so she plays to her strengths. I'm an early morning kind of person. I play to my strengths. Be realistic about when you're most productive. That goes into the idea of don't try to be someone you're not, right? So if you're a night person, okay, we'll get a lot of stuff done at night. If you're a morning person, just understand when you're most productive and run with that, because that can be a real recipe for getting a lot of stuff done. That has helped me become. I don't know about you. I'm sure some people on this call are early risers like me. I get so much stuff done in the morning before my staff walks into the office. So I don't know if this is helpful to anyone, but what I do when I get to the office, I get to the office very, very early. And I just sit with a notepad and I think. It's really quiet in downtown Boston. I just think, and that's focus time. And we'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. Focus time is when your brain can like really do its thing. When you're off your phone, you're not distracted. This is just my approach. Just sit there with a pen and paper and I think, and I just write things out, right? Just just thoughts come out. That's helpful. So I will, if things aren't time blocked already, I will calendar my day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take care of this. And I know almost everyone on this call can relate. It feels so good to knock things off your list, right? But you got to be, I hate to say it again for the 100th time, you have to be intentional. So early in the morning, I'll set up the day, and I'll just throw this out. One thing that's really helped me is meditation. Meditation has allowed me to be more productive at work because I'm not as distracted. Meditation has helped me. So if you meditate, great. If it interests you, try it. If it doesn't interest you, totally cool. But that's been helpful for me. But yeah, the early morning, I just like to really set up the day, knock things out before the office opens, before people are coming in and things are getting a little more hectic, right? Flow state, we sort of just talked about that, right? The flow state is your deep focus state. There's a really good book by Cal Newport. Maybe some have read it. We're on this call. It's called Deep Work. The brain, sorry, it's a little bit louder in downtown Boston right now. The brain needs time to, as we said, do its thing. So let it work, let it operate effectively, and try to tune out distractions. This has really helped me. I'm going to share this with you. I've done it for the second year in a row. The week between New Year's and week between Christmas and New Year's, I have a think week. And I stole this idea from John Morgan, his book, You Can't Teach Hungry. He talked about having a think week. And the more I learned about think weeks, I learned that Bill Gates does this. Just take a week just to think. And I planned out the year, sort of the big audacious goals for the year. And it really helped me. But that was like a flow state. And like I have young kids, right? So I can't just I'm not like living in some cave where I can think all day. It's not the way it is. But I can set up walls around my time by less email, less phone calls, less distractions. And that's been helpful. So I encourage you, if you're able to, have like a think day. Dan Sullivan, very successful coach, he talks about free days of just like taking a day off and just like not working a Friday, a Tuesday off. Your brain will come up with such novel ideas when you break up your patterns of behavior, your routines. That's when really good things happen. But try to do as much deep thinking as you possibly can. That's where the good stuff is, when you start to really think about stuff. So batching is putting things together that can be done. So repetitive tasks, whatever it is that you do each day, you probably do a certain amount of things many times per day, condense them, bang them out. You probably call clients throughout the day, right? There's no rule that says you can't just batch that in 1 hour of the day or 2 hours, right? You can set this up, right? So that you're doing things on a condensed period. You're doing repetitive things continuously. So your brain is really firing. You're in a rhythm. You're just cranking those things out because it's the same thing. And then you can move on to other things. But it all goes back to, let's do the productive work first, right? And if it's busy work as opposed to productive work, let's try to delegate. If we can't delegate it and only we can do it, then we need to hire someone, right? But until we hire that person, we have to, I believe, batch things so those repetitive things get banged out as quickly as possible. This promotes efficiency.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more law practice and legal marketing videos. See you in our next clip.